Hello students of class 6, this is social science and today we are going to begin with a new chapter from chapter 3, early states, rise of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, and this lesson is in page number 20. Here in this lesson, you will learn about the two kingdoms, Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, which has existed from 600 BC to 400 BC. And regarding this kingdom, we can learn through the Jataka tales, Brahmanas and Upanishads. They give informations about these kingdoms. Also, we can learn about their kingdoms from the remains of forts and punch mark coins, that is, coins where they were prints of kings and rulers. So, starting with the tools, okay? So, it started right after the Vedic culture. If you remember, in the last class we have done about the Vedic culture, that was in chapter 2, where we have learned that humans in their civilization, they have started using the iron tools, okay? So with the help of these iron tools, they were able to clear the forests, the grasses, and this helped them to expand their territory. All right. Now here, altogether, we have 16 Mahajanapadas. Okay, we have 16 Mahajanapadas, and there were republics known as the Sanghas and monarchy. And this republic and monarchy had different structure of government. All right. Now, let me explain to you about this Janapadas first. Okay. So these Janapadas, they were a clan. All right. Now, if you remember, we had Aryan civilization, right? In chapter 2. So these people, they have gathered and they formed villages. Now these villages started increasing and formed clans, okay? Clan means the member in a clan, they have similar ancestors, okay? That means their father or their grandparents, they are from one family, all right? So the children of one grandparents, they stay in one area and then they became clan. Now these clans were the Janapadas, okay? So it increased, all right? So with every age, the Janapadas increased in number. And then they started fighting with one another for land, all right? So these people, while fighting for land, there were some clans who became very powerful and they succeeded in getting the land from the other clans. So these powerful kingdoms were known as Mahajanapadas. Okay, remember, Janapadas were small clans, a group of clans. While fighting, they became successful, especially the ones who were very powerful. And these powerful ones were termed as Mahajanapadas. All right. Now, talking about this clan and Janapadas, some of them were monarchy and other one was republic. All right. Now they were different. So the ones who were following monarchy, they chose their leader depending on the power. Suppose in a society, if there was a man who was very powerful, then they made him the ruler. And then the child of this ruler became the leader again, okay? So it passed on to generations. Now the rulers were always from one family lineage, all right? So that was monarchy. But for republic, they used to take decision from the whole villages. So if they choose someone and if many members, all right, most members of the villages, if they choose a single person, then this man became their ruler, okay? So look carefully. These kingdoms especially emerged during 600 BC, and iron tools played a very important role. Also, altogether, there were 16 Mahajanapadas, divided into republic, also known as the Sanghas, and monarchy. Then the structure of the government of monarchy and Sanghas were different. All right, now talking about the structure of monarchy and the republic. All right, so one was the status of the king and the other one is administration. Now let's first discuss on the monarchy. All right, how was the monarchy those days? Now talking about the status of the king. So in a monarchy society, the king was considered the most powerful man because he is very brave, he is very intelligent, also he can protect the entire clan or he can protect the entire kingdom, right? Now we won't use the word clan, okay, because now clans are very small. We are talking about very big areas, so we will call them the kingdom, okay? So the status of the king was very high. People respected him. So normally the kings were from Kshatriya clans, all right? So in those days, they had divided the society into 4 classes, all right? The Brahmins, Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, right? Now the Brahmins were mostly priests and they involved in the temples, all right? Whatever things were done in the temple, the Brahmins does that. Now the Kshatriyas were the warriors, right? They used to fight wars. So the kings were chosen from the Kshatriya tribe, right? From the division among the divisions, the kings come from the Kshatriya, all right? So the status of the king, that is the social life of the king, all right? In a society, the king was highly respected, and as we see that the Brahmins were the priests, right? So the Brahmins used to advise the king, okay? They had a very close relationship with the king. They used to advise the king in the social matters, and the kings who came from the Kshatriya caste, they used to depend on the Brahmins, all right, to the priest. Now talking about administration. Now in administration, okay, so we are done with the king, right? Now next, regarding administration, there were Brahmins, Senani, Purohita, Amatya, agriculture and Bhaga, and there were important kingdoms known as Avanti, Vatsa, Kosala, Magadha, and Ayodhya. All right, so in a society, talking about their administration, how they were moving on in their society with different works, all right? People were given different works in a society, and together they formed an administration. Like, for example, the Brahmins, okay? These Brahmins, they were the highest caste in the society, and they acted as an advisor for the king. Now, these advisors were also known as Purohitas, okay? Now, the Brahmins, they used to advise the king since they know many things about religion, they know about the ceremonies, they were very wise, okay? So, because of their intelligence, because of all their good words and good thoughts, they were able to guide the king in decision making. So, not only Purohita, but they were also Senani and Amatya, okay? So, these Senani, they used to discuss with the king on military matters, all right? So they had large armies, okay? So they had thousands and thousands of armies. They also had different army for different positions, okay? Some of the armies used to look after, they used to deal with animals. While going on a war, they used to take their animals along with them. So they used to get training along with the animals, right? And some of the soldiers, they used to fight with the weapons. So there were different armies, and all these armies had different position. So this was all looked after by the Senani, okay? Now there were also Amatyas. Amatyas also advised the king, and they mostly look after the social matters like about farming, about agriculture, also about the taxes. So they were all advisors of the king. All right. Now coming to agriculture and bhaga. Now agriculture, most of the people were involved in agriculture those days, all right, because they had to plant food not only for themselves but for the entire society, right? Because some people are soldiers, some are artisans, and there are farmers and those people who look after the gardens, right? So these people, they used to give 1/6 of their share to the king. Now what does the king do with this bhaga? Bhaga means half of the share that they get from half of the share they gave to the king. All right. Now the king, they take this bhaga and use it as a salary for the armies and soldiers. Now the king is looking after so many soldiers, so they need to give salary to these people, right? Also to the Brahmins, also the Purohitas, okay? They used to give them salary. So it was not easy for the king to always give money or food to these people from his own area, all right? So for that, he also need help from the public, and that were the agriculturists. So these people involved in agricultures, they used to give a bhaga, that is share 1/6 of the share to the king. So with this share, the king can help the soldiers and so on. They can expand the territory with the help of these soldiers. Now I told you that the kingdoms were fighting, right? The clans were fighting for land, right? Now it was very important for every kingdom to protect their land. And to protect their land, they need the help of soldiers, right? So military strength was very important. That's why this agriculture and bhaga played a very important role for them. Because if the soldiers were not given salary, then who would like to work, right? So in order to give them something in return for their duty, because they were not only serving their family, but they were also protecting the whole kingdom, right? So the people involved in agriculture helped the soldiers by giving some share to the king. And also for those people who couldn't give anything to the king, they used to give free services, especially like carpenters, okay, and artisans. Sometimes they can't pay the king because they don't have anything with them. So in those times, they used to give free service to the king. And talking about the important kingdoms, we have Avanti. I've already mentioned the places, but of all these places, Magadha became the most powerful among all these kingdoms. All right, I will explain to you in the later part. All right. Then the Brahmins and the Purohitas, Senani and Amatya. Here I'm showing you with the help of pictures. See, these are the Brahmins, okay? They are known as the priest, also known as the priest, and they used to help the king in making decisions. Also here in this picture, you can see the king who is standing with the Brahmins, right? With a Purohita, and they are discussing on something. Now, also the king needs some advisors, right? The king is also a single human being and he cannot take all the decisions by himself. So he needs some help from his people. So this Senani, Purohita and Amatya, they used to help him by giving him advices like what he should do, how he should do, and when he should do. So talking about the armies, the military, I told you different team, different soldiers, they do different work, all right? Some of them, they learn how to fight wars along with the animals. Some of them learn to fight wars with the tools that were provided to them, so on, okay? Then talking about the agriculture and the bhaga, so the men, they used to work really hard in the field, especially the farmers. So once the crops are grown, once the crops are harvested, they used to give some share to the king. All right. Now, the whole crops that they grow, that does not belong to them. Sometimes what happens, even the land does not belong to the farmers. They used to hire from the king, okay? So this land, they use it for hiring. So some part of the crops is given as a tax, okay? And some part of the crops are given in return of rent, okay? Because here what we do, those people who are staying on a rented house, the house that does not belong to them, every month they used to give money to the owner, right? So just like that, sometimes they used to hire some land from the king, and in return they used to give money or crops to those owners, okay? All right, so regarding the important kingdoms, here the colored ones, can you see? These are the important kingdoms, okay? And right here is the Magadha kingdom, all right? Okay, so republics. Now the republics, they were also known as the democratic kingdom. And about the republics, we come to know through some records, especially the Pali records from Shakyas, Vindhyas, Lichavis Shakyas, okay? And we will also discuss on their administration. Now here, about the republics, one of the most important area is the Lichavis, all right? This area was considered as a very strong and powerful area. So there are differences, okay? There are differences between a republic and a monarchy type of government. So if you remember, I told you that there were Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. Now they were divided into two types. One was the monarchy type of government and the other one was republic type of government, okay? And there were differences. Now see here, the republic were democratic type of government. That means to choose a leader, the decision is taken by many people, all right? And if most of the people has chosen one particular person, then he is made the ruler. But for the monarchy type of government, they choose only the powerful ones, and the son of the king, the son of the king becomes the next ruler, and so on. Then talking about republic, the heads was elected by the people, and then for the monarchy, also known as the kingdom, it was hereditary, okay? In short, we will call it a hereditary type of government. That means the position of the king passed on to his generations, okay? And then I also told you that Magadha became the most powerful kingdom as compared to the other kingdoms. Okay, in the next class, I'm going to explain to you about the kingdom of Magadha. So there were many kingdoms, and out of these, there were 4 last remaining kingdoms like Avasti and Kosala. Out of that, Magadha was the most powerful kingdom, and there were also certain rulers who were ruling the Magadha kingdom. Because of them, this kingdom became very powerful, all right? So thank you, my dear students. I will see you again in the remaining part of the chapter.